Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for being here today. I'm George Land, City Manager for the City of East Lansing. I'm joined by our Police Chief, Kim Johnson, Police Captain Chad Pride, and our Mayor, Ron Bacon. We're here today to provide a briefing on the officer-involved shooting that happened on Monday, April 25th, and to release video footage of that incident. First and foremost, and on behalf of the entire City of East Lansing, our thoughts continue to be with the young man who was shot during the incident, and we continue to hope for a fast and speedy recovery for him. Our thoughts are also with the family and friends of the recovering individual. Witnesses at the scene and community members at large, we know this has been a difficult time. We're releasing the video footage today as a part of our commitment to transparency and to honor the East Lansing Independent Police Oversight Commission's request that the video footage be released within 7 days of their meeting last Thursday. As the situation remains under investigation, we want to stress that we are not able to discuss specific details of the case at this time. The two involved officers remain on paid administrative leave while the investigation is underway. The video footage, which contains footage from the Meijer store where the situation happened, and the body cam footage from the involved officers, is only one piece of the evidence being reviewed by the Michigan State Police as a part of their third-party investigation. We don't at this time have access to the other evidence, as the investigation was immediately taken over at the scene by Michigan State Police. It is by design that a third-party investigative team was immediately brought in to ensure that there isn't a conflict of interest and that the investigation remains fair and impartial for all parties involved. We are confident that the team of Michigan State Police detectives working on this case are taking every measure to ensure all evidence and facts are accurately collected and documented, and the East Lansing Police Department is cooperating fully with that independent investigation. We want to reassure community members that we are listening and that we are committed to doing the right thing in terms of process to ensure that we get the answers that are needed, make decisions accordingly, and ultimately move the community forward. As City Manager, I want to let the community know that we are committed to operating with full transparency. At this point, I'm going to turn it over to our Police Chief, Kim Johnson.
Good afternoon. Thank you, City Manager Lansing, and thank you to everyone for being here today. I know how troubling this situation has been for our community. As Chief of the East Lansing Police Department, I want everyone in our community to know that we are taking this situation very seriously. As law enforcement officers, our top priority is keeping this community safe at all times. I know the facts have been slow to come out about this incident, and we appreciate the community's ongoing patience. However, it is critical to me and to our community that this situation be handled correctly. That's why I requested Michigan State Police to conduct an independent investigation of this officer-involved shooting. Upon Michigan State Police's completion of their investigation, the case will be turned over to the Attorney General's office for a full review. After the Attorney General completes their review of the case, the East Lansing Police Department will then conduct our own internal investigation into the actions of the officers in this case. As we await the results of the Michigan State Police investigation, I want to note that there are some steps that are already being taken in direct response to this incident. We are currently identifying and reviewing our policies and procedures that directly pertain to this incident. We will continue to work with key stakeholders such as the East Lansing Independent Police Oversight Commission and provide updates to the community as they become available. After the investigations are completed, we are prepared to engage in relevant policy discussions with these stakeholders and our community and work to address any concerns that are raised. We have been in contact with the attorney of the involved individual to provide him access to the video footage prior to today's press conference. Building public trust means remaining present in challenging times, engaging in tough conversations, and being transparent as possible with our community members. We are releasing the video footage of the incident here today as part of our commitment to transparency. However, I want to remind you that it is an ongoing investigation being completed by the Michigan State Police. And I want to reiterate that we are limited with information and details that can be shared today. We are releasing this video now after lengthy consultations with various stakeholders in this case. Before we play the videos, I want to caution that these videos contain explicit language and graphic visuals, and viewer discretion is strongly advised. I must also state again that we are not here to disclose any new information or answer questions about the independent criminal investigation, as that information is not available to us. We are here to release the information that we have at this time, which is the video footage of the incident. Individuals are always presumed innocent until proven guilty of a crime, and at this time, none of the individuals involved in this incident have been charged with any criminal wrongdoing. I'm now going to turn things over to Police Captain Chad Pride of the East Lansing Police Department, who will walk us through the video footage.
Thank you, Chief Johnson. This critical incident debriefing will provide you with information about the April 25th officer-involved shooting. The Michigan State Police will conduct their own investigation, and the Michigan Attorney General's office will review that investigation after its completion. All individuals are presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. These investigations require multiple witness interviews, review of video footage, and analysis of significant amounts of evidence. The first 3 videos shown in this briefing were captured from Meijer's surveillance cameras. The remaining videos were captured by body-worn cameras from ELPD officers. East Lansing Police Department body-worn cameras are placed near the center line of the officer's outer vest carrier. It is important to note the camera lens is fixed in one position and does not capture all that is seen by the human eye. Materials presented in these videos have been redacted to protect the privacy rights of the individuals involved. Such redactions do not affect the depiction of the events presented in these videos. This redacted video is raw footage of the incident. Redactions will consist of faces, license plates, identification pieces of officers, and minors. There is no audio for the Meijer surveillance camera. The audio from the body-worn cameras during the incident has also been redacted in certain areas of the video. We will not draw conclusions about whether the individuals involved acted consistent within the law, our policies, and our training until all the facts are known and the entire investigation is complete. On Monday, April 25th, at approximately 6:36 p.m., ELPD officers were dispatched by the Ingham County 911 Dispatch Center on a weapons complaint at the Meijer store located at 1350 Westlake Lansing Road. The timeline. Timeline for this incident, the officers were dispatched to the scene at 6:36 p.m. The officers arrived at the scene at the Meijer store at 1350 Westlake Lansing at 6:43 p.m. The first initial radio traffic reference to shots fired was called out to dispatch by ELPD officers at 6:46 p.m. Medical attention was given to the individual by the officers at 6:47 p.m. And East Lansing Fire Department arrived on scene at the Meijer store at 6:52 p.m. to take over medical care. What you're about to hear is the call from the Ingham County 911 Dispatch Center dispatching ELPD officers to the scene.
Lansing on a weapons complaint. It's going to be at 1350 Westlake Lansing Road, 1350 Westlake Lansing Road at the Meijer. I have a caller that advised for a 20-year-old black male. He was wearing a yellow and black jacket with a mask covering his whole face except his eyes. Pulled a gun out of his car and went inside the store. I was dividing the accused. walked into the grocery side. He's not threatening anybody with it. I'm just walking to the store. It sounds like the accused was in a silver Chevy Equinox. He's like, is somebody clear?
That's we're all know. Warning, the video content that you are about to see contains explicit language and graphic visuals that may be uncomfortable or traumatizing to watch. Viewer discretion is advised. Please note that mental health resources will be available for those in need due to the graphic nature of these videos. What you are about to see is 3 videos from the Meijer surveillance system. Again, all 3 videos do not have sound. If you would, looking at the video, the vehicle in question that I want to point out to everyone is the silver SUV that pulled in and now backed up. That silver SUV is going to pull into a parking spot, and an individual is going to exit out of that vehicle. Once that individual exits out the vehicle, they start to go towards the front of the Meijer store. They then return back to the vehicle, open the driver's side door, and then go back inside the Meijer store. This next camera view from the Meijer store is as the officers as well as the individual exit out of the store and are going through the parking lot from your left to your right. So if you could view to the left of this screen, you will then see the officers as well as the individual running through the parking lot. This video that you're going to see now is, again, the exiting out of the store. This video is a zoomed in version of after the individual exits and the officer exits, prior to the individual making the turn in the parking lot going back towards the silver SUV. The next 4 videos we're going to watch are officer body-worn camera videos. Again, there is explicit language in these videos.
The vehicle is still in the parking lot. After calling County Right Black, you know, they're going to start the party.
Okay, can you just tell me what row it is? Do you know? Right by the front entrance, the fresh entrance? Okay, thank you. RP just pulled up next to me. Says that the Equinox is parked right in that row in front of the fresh entrance. westbound. He's got a gun! He's got a gun! He's got a gun! Fire. Get on the fucking ground!
Shot fired.
Hey! It's your fucking heart! Heart! Missy, your fucking heart!
What's your point, please?
Where's the gun?
All units here. All units here. Here.
I got him. Cover. Alright, look for it.
You just shot me! Stop fucking touching my wound! You shot me 2 times,
Okay, thanks very well.
We're good.
Oh, yeah, you can have them.
I can't! Oh!
Missy.
Okay.
Where else are you shot? Where else are you shot? That's the second.
Come in.
Okay. Exit 1.
I can't see an exit on this side. Okay. Give me a second. I gotta test you here. Hey, listen, buddy. It's gonna be okay. You gotta tell me where else are you shot, man.
Units out with the subject in the scene. Secure for the message to come straight to him. Yeah, 10-4. Bring him back in, please. 10-4. The section B. Section B.
Where is he shot? Let me see. Did you check on this side and see if there's any other entrance from on this side? Hey, buddy, you gotta stay with me, man. What's your name? Hey, stay with me, buddy. What's your name? Hey. You gotta stay with me. Chest applied. Gunshot wound to the abdomen. Another gunshot wound to the right.
Okay, one to the abdomen, one to the right leg.
Hang tight. Hey, buddy, come on, man. Stay with me. Stay with me. Come on. Hey, come on. Breathe. It's all right. Breathe. You gotta tell me where else you're shot, okay?
This is gonna hurt, man. What?
Yeah, we're good.
What are you talking about?
No.
Where that pistol is at?
He had the pistol. He had it out, okay? I couldn't see, man. I just saw him with it. He had it out. Okay, just...
People in the parking lot.
outside town, you guys like to be on that video, alright? So we gotta find the car, so we gotta do we need what you from? No one.
Hey, listen, buddy. You're gonna be okay. You gotta tell me where else you shot, man.
I can't breathe. This is really sloppy, bro.
Sorry, unit out with the subject in the scene secured from the Mexico State home.
Yeah, we're bringing back in place.
Edward. We're going to be in the Meijer side, section B.
Where's the shot? Let me see. Did you check on this side to see if there's any other entrance one on this side? Hey, buddy, you gotta stay with me, man. What's your name? Hey, stay with me, buddy. What's your name? Hey. You gotta stay with me. Chest seals flying. Gunshot, another gunshot.
One to the Yes, it's up. What is the people who know the parking lot occupied county right west and the other side of the park.
So we got running cars, what we gotta do?
Yeah. Where's police? It's in this lot somewhere. We need guys on the vehicle. So, dispatch can go one more time with the vehicle. He's gonna be running towards the pharmacy side. He's got like a black, yellow stripe on the side, all black shirt, all black vehicle. He's running up. He's definitely right now. He's got it. What's your 20, please?
Okay, you're at the Equinox, but are you out at the avenue with the accused subject? You have this amendment.
Just get her. She's coming up. We're starting. Is the gun? Where's the gun? Where's the gun?
He had it in his hand when he took the shoot person.
Okay. Where's the gun at? Security, can you get MSU or somebody, please? Taser right there. Yeah, 10-4. Bring the medics in, please. Hey, guys.
235, we're going to be in the market.
Hey, is he shot? Come over here. Check her for a gun. Check her for a gun. correct. Yes, she was. Yes, she was. Okay. That's what the officer saw. So you need to stay here. You're not free at this time. You're not free.
Yeah, go get
You guys need anything right now? Do you know where that pistol is at? He had it. Get in your car.
I couldn't see, man. I just saw him with it.
Okay. We just need scene security, that's it. We just need scene security. Hey, there's a pistol outstanding too somewhere. I got the gun. Guns here. You got gloves? Can you actually hold this? Hold this out there. Let me get into this. Okay. Pistols underneath there. Just watch for spent casings. Yeah, watch for spent casings too. Right now. 6:35. Gotcha. I don't know. I just heard shots fired on the radio. We got one more inside there that's kind of loose right now, inside the chamber. And then the... Smith & Wesson pistol. One in the chamber. We don't know how many are in the magazine. Underneath this vehicle right here, which is a Volt. West side of the Fresh Meijer parking lot. Yeah.
Again, the timeline of this incident, at 6:36 p.m., the officers were dispatched to the scene at the Meijer store at the 1350 Westlake Lansing. At 6:43, the officers arrived at 1350 Westlake Lansing. At 6:46 p.m., shots fired was called out to dispatch by EOPD officers. At 6:47 p.m., medical attention was given to the individual by the officers on scene. And at 6:52 p.m., East Lansing Fire Department arrived and took over medical care of that individual. Thank you.
At this point, we can take questions from the media. We will be selecting people who put their hand up to be recognized, to come forward to the mic to ask a question, and then we will come forward to try to answer those questions for you.
I have a few questions, one of them being, why did it take 10 days to get the video released?
That's an excellent question. As you can see, we had numerous amounts of footage that we had to redact to keep this investigation as fair as impartial to all the parties involved, and plus gathering the information from Meijer video also. So the amount of time it deals with the actual putting this together.
And then I know last week was when we had the Police Oversight Commission meeting, and that's when the deadline was given. And at that point, you had not seen the video. So now that you've seen it, what is your reaction to what you saw?
It's disturbing that we had to have a situation with one of our community members. And so we were doing our best to investigate as fair as impartial to all parties involved. And we're going to do our best, and that's why Michigan State Police is taking over this investigation.
And then I know at that meeting you mentioned that you wouldn't mention, or you wouldn't release the officers' names. Has that changed? Are you going to do that, or is it going to be after the investigation, like you said?
That's correct. It's going to be after the investigation and after the Attorney General reviews the case, once they get it.
Okay, and then I want to make sure, so when, well, I mean, we clearly saw him, but when the young man was shot, he didn't have, a gun on him? I mean, it looked like it was,
That's part of the investigation that Michigan State Police is conducting.
Okay.
Hello, Sarah Lear, WKAR. During the police commission meeting last week, several of the commissioners wanted an investigation into whether the original 911 call was a part of the city's biased police calls ordinance, whether that was affected by that. Are there plans for that type of investigation?
At the current time, while Michigan State Police is conducting their investigation, we are, as I mentioned earlier, we're reviewing our own policy and procedures that pertain to this particular case.
So I would gather from that if there is going to be that type of investigation, it would happen after MSP's investigation concludes?
That's correct.
Was there any security footage from inside the Meijer?
The camera footage that we have, that we showed that it was in the exterior, and I'm not too sure there's video from inside the store. I'm not too sure what they kept it by hand.
Yes, I can answer that question. There is video footage from inside the store as well. The best footage, though, however, comes from the body cam video.
Got it, because it seemed during the press conference there was footage inside the store, but it was body cam video, but you're saying there's also security footage inside the Meijer. Is that something that these Lansing officials have looked at, and how does it continue?
Well, as part of the investigation, this is obviously Michigan State Police's investigation, so having them review it first. When it comes to the administrative inquiry, at some point, that will then be reviewed, as well as seeing if there's an issue within policy here.
Gotcha. I guess I'm wondering why show the parking lot security footage, but not the indoor security footage?
The indoor inside footage is going to show exact same what the body camera footage is going to show.
What is the status of the man who was shot? Is he currently in the Ingham County Jail still, and what's his medical condition?
He has been released from the Ingham County Jail. I was notified that the other day, and I don't know his status of any of his medical condition right now.
Based on the video footage, how many officers fired shots? Was it one or two officers who fired shots?
That's part of Michigan State Police's investigation. They will do their investigation and conclude that. And when their investigation is complete, then we will conduct our administrative inquiry and look into that information.
And just to clarify, because we saw multiple body camera videos and they had different numbers. Were those numbers all representing different officers, or were they just video taken at different times?
They are different officers, yes.
Gotcha. And so my understanding is that there are two officers on leave. So are there other officers who responded to the incident who are not on leave, and why the decision about who to place on leave and who not to place on leave?
That's part of the investigation that's currently underway. There are two officers on leave. The other parts of deals with the investigation in this piece conducted.
Or I guess what was the criteria for placing two officers on leave if more than two officers were?
That was just my decision at that particular time, from what I understood at the time of the call.
And what would influence that decision? Were the officers more actively involved in some way, or what was the...
They were more actively involved. That's a good way of putting it.
In what way?
I'm just leaving it to the investigation piece. There are two on administrative leave at the current time.
Have you listened to the original call? Because I know that the dispatcher was played, but not the person who called the dispatcher. Have you listened to that call, and are officials planning to release that?
That probably belongs to the 911 center of Ingham County. From the caller into the dispatch center, we showed the dispatch call to our officers. That's what we had access to. But I did not listen to any caller into the dispatch center.
In one of the last videos, we saw that there was a gun that was found, I believe, under a vehicle.
That's correct.
You know, based on the video footage, based on what you've seen, had that gun fired any shots?
I have no idea, ma'am.
Thank you.
Mike Lynn, America 20 to Life. You had mentioned that this investigation will be turned over to the AG. Shall it be turned over, or it may be turned over? I know that MSP, if they find something, turns it over to the AG. Or are you saying that it's undoubtedly going to be turned over?
We're going to turn it over one way or the other. They're going to turn it over.
Okay. And then you said that you were reviewing policies. Which policies?
There are a number of policies that we work under on an everyday basis, and the policies range from how we drive our vehicles, media releases, and things like that. So we are going to be reviewing all of our policies that pertain to this particular incident.
So every policy that you just named has anything to do with the actual incident. So are you investigating the actual?
We're going to be reviewing all the policies, and some of the policies that deals with directly with the shooting. Those policies will also be reviewed.
What crime was being investigated? Do we know?
I do not know that, sir.
The ordinance that the commission spoke about last week about the calling in reference to, I don't know another way to say it, but inequitable, the calling because a black man did this thing. And there was the caller in the investigation, the conversation surrounding the investigation into that caller. Has that started, or where's the process of that?
That has not started yet, to my understanding.
Do you intend to open that?
We're going to look into that as is what that. We will talk to the commission. I think they meet again on Monday, so we'll talk to them about that. But all of our investigations can actually occur. We can look at policy review right now, but any kind of investigation, we would like to wait until after the Attorney General's review of the case.
Is there any concern that that individual not being addressed with that implication could make this same call again tomorrow?
I can answer that question.
I guess the question I'm asking is that if this behavior has not been touched on and has not been known to be something that's wrong, this could be an incident that you have tomorrow, or you're not concerned about that?
And that's a situation, I think, that's more dialogue in the future with us and the Ingham County Dispatch Center, reference what that is, and reference they know what our local ordinances are and things of that nature.
And then is there a duty to see a gun or have a gun? So I'm guessing this question goes towards your, response, the policy on responding to seeing a gun. Is just hearing gun enough in your guys' I'm not asking you a policy question that stands today. Is that enough to fire on someone?
Actually, it's a great question, sir. Reference, but the policy discussion actually going to occur after the investigation.
Well, I'm not asking specifically to this case. I'm asking your policies that are on the books now with your rules of engagement for the police department now, for your individuals that are out in the streets. Is it policy for them to just hear gun, whether it comes from a police officer or from a bystander, to return fire on this person that they were?
And we'll talk about policy and training in a future date.
What would be a usual response for that call as far as your policy on response? Meaning, if we have somebody that fell down and bumped their head, we would send just one ambulance to go check that out in the fire department. We wouldn't send an engine, a truck, and a battalion chief or something like that. So for a call like you got, what's the usual response that you would want to dispatch on?
That's actually a question, because that's one of our policies. Is how do we respond to certain calls and service, and that's going to be one of these policies under review.
So I guess
there's different levels of response to different types of calls.
Where can we access what's on the books today? Like what is on the books as of revised as of 5/5?
It's a great question. I think it's on the city's website or the police department. There's two websites there, and then you can have access to those policies to review it at your convenience.
I watched that video and it got me really extremely emotional. Right, when I seen the officer who had just heard verbally that there was a gun, took cover, backed up, and then almost in like in a SOCOM game type fashion, kind of camped behind a car, and then when he seen the person come through, it was an immediate bang. And I just think that it could have been anybody. How was your reaction when you seen that piece of that? And I'm talking about your physical and emotional reaction to that part of it. Is this as disturbing to you as it is to the public?
Sir, it's extremely disturbing. Anytime we have never had a situation like this in the history of our police department. And anytime our police officers discharge a weapon, not outside of training, is extremely disturbing.
And you also said that he had not been charged with a crime, and I believe that prior at the commission meeting, the conversation was surrounding a probation violation. Is that not a thing anymore?
That's something totally separate from this particular incident.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Thank you.
These officers have been on the department for a couple of years, around the time of the Oversight Commission was in place. Can you kind of talk about the training that these officers had to do on de-escalation and stuff like that?
Well, and there's a future discussion on training, but we have training for all different aspects of policing. This de-escalation, use of force, things of that nature, engaging with our citizens, things of that nature. So we have a long list of training stuff that they have to complete on a yearly basis, and sometimes 3 or 4 times a year. So we can talk about this. We can talk about particular training and policy stuff at a future time.
But do you know if these officers have gone through something since this commission was created?
I don't know to actually we all are on regular schedules of being trained on all aspects of our policing responsibilities. And I think the commission got up and running in the fall. I'm not too sure where our training cycle is, but we've all been trained on a regular cycle. I'm not sure where the timetable is with that.
We'll take one last question from the media if there's any remaining questions at this point.
I can let them know.
This gentleman didn't get a chance to ask one.
Community reporter of the Family Seek TV. I just had a question. What kind of racial bias training is there for the East Lansing Police Department? Is there any?
We've had continuous racial bias training prior to my arriving. I arrived in 2020. They've been having training throughout since 15 or 16, from my recollection. And we're continuing to move forward with our capacity building when it comes to dealing with people who are not like, our community members who we represent and serve.
Okay. And is it normal for the East Lansing Police Department to shoot a black man in the back while he's running from the police, or?
That is all part of the investigation.
All right. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
We have one last question, and everybody will be happy. We're going to leave like that. Just one last question. Again, Mayor Tony, my question was for, I guess, the city manager and the mayor, as well as the chief. But I understand the conversation surrounding waiting to the end of the investigation. What I don't understand is the concern that I have as a media, but also as a community activist and somebody out here in the community, and our people and our kids that are out here. Is there no concern at all from all of you sitting here that this could happen tomorrow, given the fact that you recognize you have policies that led up to this, that we're waiting for months out to change? And I guess that's a question for anybody who wants to answer it, but I would love to hear all of your all's concern. Given the policies that led up to this, I mean, obviously we had more cars than should have been there for a call. There was no crime committed. We also had an agitated response where it seemed as if we were actually coming to a robbery in progress. If those policies aren't addressed today, are you not concerned that tomorrow you could have the same situation? Or are we leaving it to they should know better?
Well, at this point, we're doing an independent investigation from Michigan State Police. We've got to wait the outcome of that investigation. And a big point of the transparency is releasing all the video. This video is going to be available, all of it, on Dropbox, so people can look at it right after this. They can take out jump drives here, and I encourage you to go back and look at the video.
It's not a question for me in that aspect. The question is, with these policies, as a chief and as a city manager, I know that the policies we have on the books led to this process and this situation happening, and I'm not addressing those for months out. And my concern, are you guys having meetings with people and going over the things that happened? For instance, this would be a definite good moment for a Monday night quarterbacking and saying, look at the things that we did wrong here so that tomorrow's shift, we don't have the same incident. Are we having those discussions, or is it just like everybody just came to work on Tuesday like it was just a day?
Everyone is taking this very seriously, and we have to wait for a full investigation from Michigan State Police.
Thank
That's
you.
the point we're at. Thank you.